Many climbers feel like climbing on slabs is really difficult, and slabs are 90 degrees plus, and you may be wondering, how can I make climbing on slabs easier? Today we're going to go through 5 tips that are going to do just that. Tip number 1 is use your feet. Your feet is where your weight should be. Your hands can hold you on the wall, but essentially your feet is what's going to be holding your body up, your legs. Any kind of movement you do is with your feet and legs. Tip number 2 is place your hips directly above your feet. I recently did a video about 5 mistakes climbers make with body position, and the 5th mistake is when it comes to slab climbing, people will put their hips against the wall, and if it is too far in front of your feet will slip. So make sure that your hips are directly above your feet. And it is likely that you're going to be moving your feet, then rocking your hips over to be on top of your feet. Just keep your hips above your feet as much as possible, and understand that there will be some situations where your hips will need to move slightly to get the position you need to. Tip number 3 is to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. I'm just kidding. Here's your actual tip. Make sure that you have your hips open if necessary as much as possible. For me, I have a weakness in my hips, and I often turn my body sideways so that I can use the outside of my legs muscles more so than when my hips are square to the wall. In many situations though, on slab climbs, it's actually better to keep your hips facing the wall because it will enable you to have more flexibility with the movement and keep you closer to the wall. Whereas when your hips are sideways, your feet are more likely to slip out, or they're less likely to be able to leverage your toes. That being said, if you have issues like I do where I have a lack of flexibility in my hips, I really just have to do what I can, keep my hips as square as possible, but there are scenarios where I have to move my hips sideways to the wall just so that I can keep my position. Tip number 4 is to move your feet. Now, earlier in the video I mentioned how important your feet and legs are on slab climbs, and that is also equal to what you should move before anything else. So before your next move, move your feet. There will be scenarios where it seems like you need the balance of where your feet are to move your hands, and in those situations that's fine, but in most cases you will be moving your feet before your hands. Tip number 5 is actually a way that you can train for slab climbing, and that is a leg exercise called squats. And this is going to be crazy, right? Stand against a wall and actually do squats where you put your knees out as wide as you can, keep your hips as close to the wall, and do a squat all the way down to your ankles. And the situation for this training, you can be on your toes. In addition to squatting, you should also be stretching. You can do stretches like the butterfly or lunge stretches. If you are into yoga, you might enjoy the pigeon pose. Is a good way to open up the outside of your hips. So really anything you can do to increase your hip mobility. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and comment below what other videos would you like to see in the future.